Okay. All right, everybody. At 10 a.m., we are going to begin the meeting and begin recording as well. Okay, so good morning. And at 10 o'clock, we're going to call to order the Board of Commissioners meeting for February 2nd, 2021. And our first point of business, if you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. We are going to move into public comment at this time. So if there's anybody who would like to address the board on matters that are not on the agenda, feel free to do so at this time. Feel free to unmute yourself and you can offer public comment. Is there anybody who'd like to offer public comment? Okay, seeing none at this time, if there are matters that we do have on our agenda that you would like to offer public comment for, please at that time offer it as we get to those items. We are going to move to our meeting minutes from our last meeting from last week. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 26th.
second,
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Any further discussion needed for the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes do so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
aye,
The motion is carried. Okay, we're going to also start off with an announcement regarding the 2021 Emergency Responder Scholarship Program, and we will turn it over at this time to Commissioner Higgins.
Thank you, Mike. To kick off Career and Technical Education Month, your Center County Commissioners are reintroducing $15,000 of 2021 funding for our emergency responder scholarships. These scholarships encourage new adult volunteers and the retention of junior volunteers for fire companies and EMS services. Individual scholarships of up to $2,500 per academic year. So in some cases, some of these volunteers may be able to receive up to $5,000, are available for any course of study at CPI, South Hills, or a new school for us, the Phlebotomy Institute of Central Pennsylvania. A number of these degrees and certificates are in healthcare and other fields where there are huge current needs for additional employees. Applications for the scholarship are available on the Center Foundation website at center-foundation.academicworks.com. I will now introduce a representative from the Phlebotomy Institute of Central Pennsylvania so they can explain what phlebotomy means and more details about their classes, exams, and internships. They're located in the Center Lifelink building at 125 Puddintown Road in State College. I believe we have Deb Smeal on the Zoom right now. She serves as the director of the phlebotomy program, and I believe she also works for Center County government. Deb, why don't you give us a little more details about the program?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the invitation to the meeting today. I am the director for Phlebotomy Institute of Central Pennsylvania. Steve Walters is my administrative director, which through Center Lifelink, he is employed, and the Center Lifelink executive director is Scott Rawson. So you should be familiar with all those names. Scott is a deputy in our facility also, and Steve is a paramedic for Center County as well as working for Center Lifelink. Steve is currently the administrative director for the Phlebotomy Institute. The Phlebotomy Institute is currently on a hiatus due to the COVID. Our externships are held at Mount Indian Medical Center, and currently we're not able to hold classes. We've chosen not to hold classes because we cannot offer our students externships. So being a new facility in the education department is new to us because we haven't been able to apply for any of the grants that are offered due to the fact that when we were actually brought into the system, the COVID pandemic had set in. So we have not held any in-house classes due to our externships at Mount Nittany. Phlebotomy is a very good entry-level career. You can volunteer for the volunteers in medicine sometimes takes volunteers in order to go up there to draw blood samples in a needed situation. But phlebotomy normally is a career like your EMTs and your paramedics. So with that being said, there's no real true volunteer setting within the phlebotomy sector. There is a call for phlebotomists, and the school had to submit to the Pennsylvania Department of Education the need for phlebotomists. So there was every year a current need statistics developed in order to, or not developed, but you would be, the statistics would be gathered in order to submit to the Department of Education in order to continue with our classes. Our classes actually, there's a 40-hour in-house class along with prerequisites of CPR, your immunizations, and other things such as your diploma and that type of information as far as prior education in order to get into the school. We evaluate all that, and then there is an actual application. And once we evaluate your application, then we determine if you're eligible to be in the class. The externships are normally done with surrounding areas, hospitals such as Mount Nittany, and we also have contracts with outlying area hospitals such as Penn Highlands, the VA, and different entities throughout the community or Center County in general. We also outreach to other counties due to the fact that our students travel to do the classes. So at this point, we want to thank you for and we are willing to continue to work with the commissioners and the county in order to work towards scholarships for these individuals. There would be prerequisites for scholarships if we would open this up to the scholarship setting. So we would have to address that once we get back on board as far as the classes are concerned.
Sorry, I was muted. Great, that sounds wonderful, Deb. You cut in and out a couple of times, so
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm assuming you mentioned in there that phlebotomy is blood drawing and related medical tests, critical part of our medical infrastructure.
I didn't exactly mention that. I was going to go into that next. I'm cutting in and out too. I'm upstairs in the county building, so I'm not sure exactly, but the actual phlebotomist is an individual that's a frontline worker for the laboratory setting, the pathology laboratory setting. They are the faces of the laboratory. We teach the skill. There is a proper procedure. The skill is taught with on-hands learning. We start out with fake arms, which we call them. And once they progress through the fake arm and the proper procedure, then we go to the actual one-on-one blood draw within our student population. And then we send them to the externships where they go to, like, such as Mount Nittany, to get ample practice and direction and mentoring from senior phlebotomists within the facility. And then our students are also, after meeting those requirements, 40 hours in-house, 40 hours externships with 50 sticks, which include capillary sticks, which is a finger stick that the public normally knows it as. Once they maintain those skill level sheets, we then can place them on the National Health Association testing site in order to become a certified phlebotomist.
Well, again, that sounds great, Deb. And off your website, the certification process takes several months worth of work. And even a few years ago, the average phlebotomist made $33,000 a year. So good career, very definitely needed here in Center County and throughout the state. Thanks for visiting with us, Deb. I'm going to email a copy of our new Center County Emergency Responder Scholarship brochure to all of the press later today. If anybody missed anything and wants more details, please contact me directly. Thank you very much. I'll turn it back to Mike now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins, for presenting this, and also to Deb as well. Thank you for being here today and the work you do, Deb. Even through the pandemic, we still have these vital needs for our first responders that'll be critically helped by this scholarship. So we look forward to seeing the applicants and having those awarded. So thank you. All right. Heading into our COVID-19 planning and response section of our agenda, we'll check with Administrator Gray to see if we have anything on the docket for today.
Morning, thank you. Just a reminder that the AMI COVID-19 testing site reopened this morning on the Benner Pike. It will be open Tuesday through Saturdays between now and Saturday, February the 27th. So it is operational and a go. And I know we've had some press on it, but spread the word that they are still here and a great resource for our community. That's it.
Okay, thank you. We will then head into our contract section, and we're going to begin with one from Emergency Communications and turn it over to Norm Spackman. Good morning, Norm.
Good morning. We are requesting approval for the contract of Mission Critical Partners to provide support, oversight, and project management for the Center County share of the Southern Alleghenies 911 cooperative grant projects, including Regional Alley, EZNet monitoring, and Regional CAD. The project total is $45,193.25 and being funded through a 2021 PEMA grant at no cost to the county. This contract is for the project management portion of the PEMA grants submitted last week, which is on the this week's consent agenda. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Norm, very much. A critical piece of this project. Any questions, feedback for Norm on this?
No.
Okay,
Nope, we're good.
Okay, great. Hearing none, is there a motion to add to next week's consent agenda?
Certainly. Thanks for explaining that so well, Norm. I will make the motion to add the proposal from Mission Critical Partners to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
The motion has carried. Okay, thank you again, Norm. Okay, all right, we're going to move into our grant section, and we have with us our director of our EMA office, Jeff Warren, with us, and this is going to be for hazardous materials. So good morning, Jeff. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Commissioner Pipe. What I'd like to ask the commissioners to endorse the Hazardous Material Emergency Response Preparedness Assessment Report. And this is part of, which is a quarterly process to get the Hazardous Material Response Fund grant money through PEMA and FEMA. And what this report is, it talks about all the various hazardous materials stored at facilities, businesses, water treatment, sewer treatment, those type of things throughout the county. It documents all this from the previous year. It also has a threat assessment, transportation related, which is the primary one, plus all those facilities. And then it also documents our hazardous material teams and our preparation to respond to any emergencies.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Jeff. And this is in terms of the time frame for the project. Are we still early on with completing it, or have we moved more into the midpoint of this project assessment?
Well, the assessment itself, the actual reporting of the facility is always a year lagging for security purposes. This actual assessment is for the grant that covers the next period, which is July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So more to come on this. Okay. Any other questions, comments on this grant submission?
I'm good.
That's fine, yes.
Okay. All right. We'll look for a motion.
Motion to add the proposal from, motion to add the hazardous material emergency preparedness assessment to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
The motion has carried. Okay, great. Thank you, Jeff, again.
Thank you very much.
Sure. All right. In our planning section here, this is a rather important and large item that we've discussed throughout 2020, but the money is now available. It can be dispersed out. So we're going to be turning it over to Ray Stalinas in our planning office for this agenda item to kick it off. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, commissioners. This morning we're talking about the subrecipient agreements as a result of 6 specific allocations that the commissioners approved back on August 11th at the final meeting of our CDBG CV public meeting. And those identified were submitted as an application to DCD by CEDACOG by August 31st. And we subsequently received a grant approval on November 2nd for $166,152 for Center County, and for Bellefonte Borough on behalf of $66,574. So I'll let Mitzi discuss the subrecipient agreements for those specific allocations.
Good morning. This is the next step once we received the contract and it was signed by both parties. This is the required subrecipient agreements between the county and your on behalf of community of Bellefonte Borough, and then each one of the entities that will be running the program through them. Seven Mountains EMS Council CDBG-CV project is to purchase necessary emergency response equipment that responds to COVID and protects the EMS workers and or the patient. Center Volunteers in Medicine, which the project is to purchase COVID testing kits for LMI eligible residents of the county. Center Safe program is to provide emergency shelter in hotels to keep social distancing guidelines during COVID. Center Helps is the organization that will be LMI income eligible intake process for the rent, mortgage, and utility assistance program for the county and also Bellefonte Borough. And then CBICC is the entity that will be assisting with the small business assistance program in the county.
Okay, thank you very much, Mitzi. Thank you, Ray. So we have these 5 items that we're delegating funds to, and then of course the Borough of Bellefonte will also be able to delegate theirs. But any feedback, questions on this?
Now that she's announced it, I'm wondering if Roman numeral number 5 might be a typo. I think, wasn't that supposed to be for the Penn State Small Business Development?
No, it's CBICC.
What is CBICC? All right. Okay, I just remembered that we were going to be granting some monies to the Penn State SBDC as well.
That may be CRBG or one of the other various CARES Act funding sources that's come out.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. And again, yes, yep, absolutely. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions on this?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, great. All right. We would then look for a motion to that effect.
Motion to approve the Community Development Block Grant CV subrecipient agreements with Seven Mountains EMS Council, Center Volunteers in Medicine, Center Safe, Center Helps, CBICC, and Bellefonte Borough.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on this? Questions? Okay. We are hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Ray, Mitzi, thank you once again.
Thank you, commissioners.
Have a nice day.
You too.
We have our consent agenda in front of us. Would there be a motion to approve?
Motion to approve this week's consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. We will go then to our administrator's report and turn it back over to Margaret.
Okay, just one item under the consent agenda. Commissioner Pipe, did you want to speak about the allocation for the camera project? The $480,576. Could I do
Sure.
that?
Sure,
Okay.
if you'd like to, sure, sure.
Yes, so just for some additional clarification and to request your approval for the funding sources of the camera project with Watkins. As you know, last week, the camera project was approved by the Board of Commissioners, including all of the functionalities that were presented, getting us to a total of the $480,576.10. At that point, we were asked to go back and look at potential other funding sources so that the entire amount would not come from our capital budget. And we've done so and would like to propose this morning that there is a funding source breakdown of $20,000 that would be received from PCOR. We would submit an application for our annual $20,000 security grant from them if you approve. We would take $23,957 from our IT budget. And we would also bill just the cameras in the amount of $4,061.75 to our elections grant for the coverage of our ballot drop boxes. So in total, that is $48,018.75, which means that a lot of numbers here. We can provide these for the minutes. That $432,557.35 to fund the project would come from our capital budget, and $48,018.75 would come from these other resources. So I thought that was important to bring back to you since there was a request to consider other funding options.
Thank you for catching that, Margaret. Yes, I think it would be good for us as a board to enter that into the minutes to appreciate that we have reduced the funds or have reduced the amount of capital budget use. Even though it is above the 400,000, it's far less than the 480,000 of the total contract. So are we in consensus that would be appropriate, those different funding streams?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. That gets us back very close to the original budget.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you, Margaret, for flagging that. Thank you.
Okay. And the other item I had for today is just to announce that the Board of Commissioners will be meeting with the State College Borough Council this Friday to discuss the Task Force on Mental Health Crisis Services. The purpose of the meeting is not to discuss the substance of the recommendation, but really rather to identify how each entity will be moving forward together and apart to achieve the recommendations that have been put forth in the task force report. So that is coming up this Friday, 11:15. It will be a virtual platform for that meeting.
Okay. And we have had a few folks who have asked for the Zoom link or how to connect to that. That is yet to be released. So that will be released in the coming days, day or so. So we just want to let people know if you've been looking for that, it has yet to be released, but will be soon.
Probably later today, as a matter of fact. So
great. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Margaret. We will then go into our check run and turn it over to Commissioner Higgins.
Thank you, Mike. We have a much smaller than normal check run in the amount of $400,909.26. The check of the week is to Election Systems and Software for $84,575. This particular check covers hardware maintenance at the medium level. I think it's a silver. The maintenance on our Express Vote devices, the firmware licenses for all of the different devices, and a broad variety of other software-related support from ES&S. Obviously, running elections is not cheap, and we have to make sure we have at least a medium level of maintenance agreements and service in place for multiple years so that everything functions correctly when we need it to, and that if there are any issues during the election, that staff from ES&S is immediately available either in person or by phone. So with that check of the week mentioned, I will make a motion to approve the check run dated January 29th.
I will second that.
The check run has been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on the check run? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the check run has been approved. We will turn it over to Commissioner Dersham for voter registration.
All right, we have 105,319 registered voters in Center County this week. That's up 53 from my previous report. Looks like we have 44,106 Democratic registrants, 140 Green Party, 690 Libertarian, 13,935 no affiliation, and 42,555 Republican voters in Center County, which leaves a total of all others at 3,840. And of that total, I would like to recognize the American Eagle Party in Center County, which has one registered voter. So there's a lone eagle out there. Now, the precinct feature of the week is going to be Millheim Precinct number 9, which votes at the fire hall in Millheim. And in the last election, there were 605 registered voters eligible. There were 510 ballots cast, which leaves a voter turnout percentage of 84.3%. And we would like to again thank the fire company for allowing us the opportunity to use their facility. But I also want to recognize the folks that make it happen for precinct number 9, which is the judge of elections is J. Allen Ilgen. The minority inspector is Karen Yannick. Majority inspector is Donna Shawley. And the clerks are Edwin Bessiker and Ruth Bessiker. So we want to appreciate all their hard work and thank them for their service and hope to see them again very soon. So there you have it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Commissioner Dersham. We would then look to see if we have any executive sessions to report currently.
No executive sessions to report. However, at the end of the agenda, we do need to meet an executive session briefly for a personnel matter.
Okay, thank you, Margaret. All right, at this time, we will entertain any questions from the press at this point. If there's any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask away. Okay, we're seeing no questions from the press today. We appreciate you all joining us for this meeting, and we would at this time look to go into an executive session. And this would be for personnel matters. Okay.
Michael, before we
Oh,
enter
please.
into executive session, I actually have something for the good of the order that I would like to discuss, at least
Sure.
bring to attention of the board.
Oh, sure, please. Please.
One of the actions of the federal government in recent time is the closure of private prisons, and one of those prisons that's going to be impacted is the Geo prison on the Center and Clearfield County line. I've received a number of contacts from folks either employed or concerned citizens about what the loss of hundreds of jobs will do to the community. A lot of those employees are Center County residents. So I would like to bring that to the attention of this board for some consideration of action, at least, letting the federal government aware that it will have a direct impact on the citizens of our community.
Sure. I think there will be career fairs that will be available. Unfortunately, the decision was made it's going to be, I think at the end of March, it's going to be closing. But yeah, we're always in need of staff at our facility. And if we can employ some of those folks, that would be, I think, a great way that we can reach out to them, be a part of any career fairs. I don't know, since the facility is actually located in Clearfield, I don't know if our workforce development board that you would be our representative on would be able to work with them, or if that falls to the Clearfield Workforce Development Board. But also, of course, we have the state correctional institutions, one very close to that prison in Houtzdale, and then also the two that are in Center County. So we through whatever method we can, let them know that we are consistently hiring, and their experience could be useful at our facilities, without a doubt.
And of
I
course,
just want to read my dissatisfaction with the decision from the federal government to close that facility, because it does impact many local families, and I think it's a darn shame that that wasn't taken into consideration before those actions were taken.
I just wanted to mention that situations like this highlight the dire importance of economic diversification in Center County. The more different types of jobs we have at the more different types of medium-sized businesses, the better off we are to withstand economic shocks like this, because things always change. Industries grow, industries shrink. That's capitalism. So I would like to thank the MVEDP for their decades-long work in the Phillipsburg area. And I know there are a variety of employers in Phillipsburg, especially in their multiple industrial complexes that are always looking for employees as well. Good companies, good paying jobs, just a few miles from the prison that did close. We do feel for the residents of that area who had jobs at the facility. As Commissioner Pipe said, somewhat fortunately, there are at least 4 county or state prisons within a short drive of the facility. And as I mentioned, Phillipsburg itself has a vibrant local economy, especially in manufacturing. So hopefully everyone can find some jobs in the near future that would be something that they'd like to do. And we'll continue to work as the county commissioners to develop the economy, at least in Center County. So, but again, we do feel for the people who are about to be unemployed here in about a month or 2. So thanks for bringing that up, Steve.
Well, I'm actually not quite done yet, because I would like to take action in some way, shape, or form to let the federal folks know that this is going to impact our local community, and that I personally am very dissatisfied with the decision. So I don't know if it's the will of the board to support that. I am going to at least personally submit some correspondence to the federal government, and you're more than welcome to join me in that effort if you so choose.
Sure. Well, I think you're the issue that you're bringing up, Steve, I think we may disagree with. I personally am not in favor of the use of private prisons for incarcerating individuals. I think that is a difference we may have. Hopefully we can be respectful with it. I appreciate the fact that we do need to employ people and have them have good careers, but the prison population of the federal government has significantly decreased over the last several years. And so if you would like to send a letter yourself, obviously you have the complete total right to do that. But it would not be something that I'd be sending a letter to keep it open. And I just want to be clear, to keep it open, I'm not supporting that. But of course, every single amount of different type of job retrainings or career, getting them in touch with workforce development groups. Again, you're our liaison there with the Central Pennsylvania Workforce Development Board. I don't know if you've had any conversations with their folks there to make sure that these people are getting some connections with possible career opportunities. But so I would not support any official action from the full board, at least from my standpoint. I would be against it, but we do need to focus on getting them job retrainings as much as possible and other opportunities for employment.
Yeah, I would be happy to reach out to state and federal officials on job training, unemployment assistance, et cetera. But the criminal justice reform has had strong support from both sides of the aisle for a number of years now. And if we are going to reform criminal justice, if we're going to stop locking people up for very minor offenses, or possibly trying to make a minor offense into a medium-sized offense such that they end up in a federal prison, it's very expensive to lock people up. And so, as Commissioner Pipe mentioned, the federal prison population, thank God, is dropping quite substantially. And when that happens, you need to close facilities. I believe this facility was on a list that was put out at the end of the prior presidential administration for closure. And I'm pretty sure the Biden administration is not going to push to reopen federal prisons when there's nobody to put in them. But again, happy to help notify state and federal authorities that job training, unemployment assistance, et cetera, is needed. And of course, call on local corporations and local governments that employ people who have skills in the prison industry to be aware and to try to bring people on board as soon as possible.
Well, that's an unfortunate disagreement we have, because I don't think it's I don't think it's a prudent move. But that being said, there's still probably upwards of 300 jobs being lost in our community, which are going to be very difficult to replace. So, all right. Well, thank you for listening to me.
No, sure. Thank you for bringing it up. Okay. So at this moment, we would be looking, is there any other discussion items before we go into executive session? Okay. Would there be a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go to executive session at 10:36.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We are going to be heading into executive session. Have a great day.